Many years ago, the journalist Rachel Maddow wrote a book called Drift, which had a very interesting premise. She noted that in earlier generations, the connection between the community of soldiers and veterans in our country, those who served, their immediate families, their friends, and the general community in the U.S. were essentially one in the same. Said another way, everybody either served or knew well someone who had. But over the last 50 or 60 years, her premise was that there was a drift. That the military community, those who served, their families, their friends, and everybody else kind of drifted apart. And so that the needs of military families and veterans was not as well known to everybody else. And if we look at the situation, especially in cities like Los Angeles that has significant veterans population, but also a significant population of veterans who suffer from mental illness or from homelessness, there seems to be difficulty, even in communities with great concentration of concern for veterans, to actually find the political will to do what they need done for them. And her book was an observation as to why that is and how it came to be. But I'm inspired in what we heard earlier from Rabbi Noble about the story of Abraham sitting outside his tents near the trees of Mamre and jumping with great excitement to greet anyone who might come forward to need from him in hospitality, to me was an inspiring story of how we might think of our responsibilities towards those in our country who have served. The Torah tells us that it just says three men, right, that God saw and then three men came by, suggests us that those men were actually messengers from God. And that our responsibility to express love for those strangers is a key and important part of what it means to be Jewish. How many of you in this room came into the synagogue today? That was meant to be a trick question. How many of you came into the synagogue today? I should see all of your hands. You all, those of you here, came into the synagogue today, and I know that because you are in the synagogue right now. And I'm guessing most, if not all of you, came through our main doors and our welcome center. And you saw three tapestries hanging from the wall. The one to the left is a representation of the story from this week's Torah portion, Va'era, of Abraham and his tent greeting the three strangers. And if you look closely, you will see in the imagery of the fire that is burning outside the tent, the letter Shin, representing the Holy One, just as you see the letter Shin inscribed upon a mezuzah. And Abraham, as Rabbi Noble taught us, because of the zeal with which he expressed his hospitality towards these strangers, is blessed by God with the birth of his son. Something so surprising that it caused his wife Sarah to laugh when she heard that she would have a son at her advanced age of 90, which is why she called her son Yitzchak, which comes from the word for laughter. It's in this portion. I'm not making that up. It's real. It's true. But the story of taking care of the stranger, the story of taking care of the person that you just happen upon, who enters into your life momentarily and will leave it momentarily after that, is an inspiring one, especially in the post-drift world that Rachel Maddow described. Earlier in the service, when I asked how many people in the sanctuary were veterans, I honestly had no idea how many people might stand up. I knew a few of you are. The part of our community, people who spent their most important years of their life in service to our country, who said to everybody else, I got you. We got you. We're going to make sure, we're going to do everything we can. We're going to put our lives on the line to make sure those of you at home remain safe. Hospitality goes both ways. There's what it means on Abraham's responsibility to be a good host. And those angels were obviously examples to us of what it means to be good visitors. And as Rabbi Noble said, that relationship also goes both ways as well. for those of us who did not serve in the armed forces, the more that we can be aware of those who have, and to do what we need to do just to be mentioned, just to be good people, to take care of those around us, to take care of those for whom those people risk the ultimate sacrifice to protect. We can sacrifice a little bit of ourselves to do the same. And especially when you have the opportunity to happen upon someone who has served and done that for them, we should say thank you and express our gratitude for them. And if you can offer them a drink, hospitality is good as well. But inspired by the story of Abraham and Sarah, seeking to take care of those in their community and seeking to build peace, I wish you all a sense of peace and Shabbat Shalom.